What's going on, guys? Back into the video. In this video, man, I'm gonna be speaking about basically my story and all that. You know, this was actually my fourth time making this video, cause like whenever I make this video, I just kept stuttering. I just kept like mumbling and shit like that. I'm just like, bro, this video, it has to be spoken clearly, bro. I just can't, you know, cause this is about me. I can't, you know what I mean? Like, it has to be good understanding. So basically, so first question is where I'm from. No, look, man, for me, like, I was the kid that had moved around, did different places a lot, like, you know, growing up. So I didn't really have a place that I would say I'm from. But you know what I mean? Because I just kept on moving around. I grew up in different places. I grew up different countries and stuff. So it was very different for me, because it wasn't like, oh yeah, I grew up here or I was raised here. Like, I wasn't really raised like anywhere. I was raised in America. Like, shit, I could say that. I could say that because that's facts. But like, you know, it wasn't like a specific neighborhood or like a specific hood that I'm from or whatever. But like basically, I was born in Nepal, right? So I was born in Nepal, boom. And things that during that time when I was born in Nepal, so my dad, he was, you know, my dad's very smart though. So he gonna do his smart jobs. He gonna do his smart stuff, and he was working at a college at the time. So he was working at college in Japan. So boom. So when I was 6 months old, we had moved from there. We moved to Japan. I know it sounds crazy, cause like, bro, this is what I'm saying. I'm really special for real, cause my bro, I was 3 years old and I moved like 4 different countries, bro. That shit crazy. Without America, even before even staying in America, I lived like 4 different countries, which I find is insane crazy. But like basically, so boom, I moved to Japan, and after Japan, we had moved. So my dad, he had found a better. He wanted to move, so we had moved to France, and then after France, we had moved to Ireland, and we stayed a year, 2 years in Japan. No, a year in Japan, a year in France, a year in Ireland. So basically, after France, we had moved to Ireland, and I don't really remember a lot of stuff because I was like so young. I was 2, 3, but I do have like split like little memories. But I remember shit in Ireland. I remember in Ireland, but we had moved like 2 different apartments. And this one story I remember in Ireland, I'm gonna say this one thing. I remember my dad, like, we weren't really that rich, right? So my dad, he had bought me this one tiger thing, and it was like a small tiger toy. But the thing, this tiger, you could really pop its head. So my dad, he used to pop out its head, and he used to play with me like, and shit like that. He's like, he used to do all that stuff. And I remember like that was my favorite toy. Now I went to like things at that time, like we didn't really have money to like afford like a daycare and shit. But basically I went to this other place for like basically like, you know, my mom's gonna be out of town, you know what I mean, she gonna be doing her thing, and my dad's gonna be at work. You have to put me into somewhere, right? So we have found like a good place to basically drop me off for the days and all that. So in this day, bro, I remember one kid, bro, he had like a big ass like a dinosaur toy, and this dude, I don't know what the fuck his problem was, but he just kept like making fun of like my tiger toy. But I'm like, you know, my daddy, he had got me his toy. Fuck wrong with you? So I literally grabbed his toy and I threw it on the ground, and it just broke in like pieces. I don't remember if it was Legos or not, but that bitch just started breaking. He had got mad, and he had came over to me, and then I just like I did this to him, right? I just kind of ran into him, right? And he just like he just starts crying like a fucking retard. Starts crying, you know, I get in trouble and all that stuff. And that's probably, I think, one of the only memories I remember. But like boom, after Ireland, this is when the real story starts. You know, I come to America. I'm sorry, guys. I'm watching the Man City and Bournemouth game, the FA Cup quarterfinals 2025. So I'm watching it, but I'm trying to multitask and do 2 at once. But basically, so I moved to Florida, and in Florida, I would say I had a good time because, you know, I was a kid. So you're gonna, you know, kids like, bro, I'm guarantee you that kid, bro, you could put him in the worst of the worst environments. He's a kid, so he's gonna only have fun. Kids, all they do is have fun. That's the only thing that's in their mind, is just having fun, enjoy, and be happy and all that, right? So we moved to Florida, and in Florida, like, we lived in Tallahassee. Now Tallahassee is the trenches, right? Like, Tallahassee is the trenches. It wasn't a good environment, and my dad, he was working at the college at that time, so we had to kind of live a little bit near the college. And I think like the surrounding area in the college was all hood and all, like, you know, the gutter and all that. So we lived there for 2 years, but like, you know, I would say I always had a fun time because my parents, bro, they always were fun people. They always used to make me happy. And one thing about me, bro, like, I've never been a kid that's spoiled. I've never been a spoiled child, bro. Like, you know, my parents, I always understood as a kid. Like, when I was in Florida, I understood this shit, which I was so young, but I understood that, you know, a lot of kids around us, you know, they live in poverty. They live without a lot of stuff. And I told my dad that, yo, dad, even if you just give me toothpaste for my birthday, I'm gonna be happy, because you know, at least you thought about me, and at least you are actually in my life. So that was the type of mentality I had. And then boom, so we stayed for 2 years, and boom, so my dad was like, you know, we going to move out and all that stuff, because you know, it isn't really a good place to to raise your kid and stuff, because you know, it's a treasure. It's never a good place. So boom, we had moved to after we had moved to Atlanta. Now look, Atlanta was a whole lot experience, but I feel like Atlanta has changed me. It has basically made me the person I kind of am. You know, even so, we have moved away from Atlanta into Louisiana, but I'm gonna get into that after. But like in Atlanta, we lived in the first place we used to live in. It was like my dad had found a good like cheap apartments and stuff like that, and things that in these cheap apartments, it was like the whole community was just amazing. Like the whole like surrounding area and everything, like, but the schools were just 5-star. It was mostly like a predominantly, oh my god, predominantly, that's crazy. But like it was mostly like, I'm trying to talk as clear as possible, so I'm trying to act like I told myself before making the video, how would a smart dude like talk? And this is how they always talk. They always be using their fucking hands and shit like that. I don't know, but like basically, so when you lived there, it was predominantly like a more like a white Asian type of environment. You know what I mean? Like most of those kids in the school I used to go to were like hella smart, and they just had like everything on. You know, I mean, like their parents had money, and they're just spoiled, and they're spoiled. They just had what's it called? They were just hella smart, and they were just like, you know, and they were basically good at everything. Now like for me, like I wasn't really good at anything. You know, I was bad in school. I was bad in studies. You know, I always had like a speech like stuttering problem, and I was just different. Like I was just that one kid who they all kind of just pushed to the side. I was a kid that like they people in my school, they never really like wanted to really be my friend for real. Like I just felt very like different in my whole time there. I felt very misunderstood, because it's like because I don't know, bro, it's just like I wasn't good at school and all that stuff. So I could like basically a lot of the people at that school, like they were good, and the things that their parents used to tell them, that like don't be friends with people who are weak, or don't be friends with people who are, you know, like classic like a parent shit, which, you know, I'm not gonna say anything bad against it, because you know, your parents only care about the kids. But it was a hard time for me, because like and basically at that time, I used to kind of start to act up and stuff like that, because I feel like I didn't really understand how to kind of express myself. So I used to be like class clown and all that. And I'm like, you know, I was bad at school, so I used to do like my dad. He used to say that at home. So my mom and my dad and me used to all work on my homework, because I needed that extra help, because I didn't understand stuff. I didn't really know how to talk that good and all that stuff. And I just like I spoke like, you know what I mean, like as if I didn't really know how to, like, the grammar was bad and all that. And basically, I don't know, I had a hard time and stuff. But I remember I had this one friend, and this friend, bro, like I felt very understood, like as if Keppa is so ass, but like, bro, it's like I felt like this dude was like, he was like me for real, because it's like he really understood me on some levels. Because bro, he was bad at school, I was bad at school. He used to act up, I used to act up. So it's just like whatever he used to do, I used to just do it too. So we used to both be acting up. So we used to both get kicked out of class and all that stuff. You know, get out. And then basically I used to have the teacher talk to me. This teacher was racist as shit. She was so racist, but like she used to hate me for some reason. Like I was a cool kid. Like if you guys see my picture, I seem like I'm very innocent. Like I was a very innocent kid. And basically, oh my god, that shit was so funny. But like, you know, I used to get in trouble for, like, you know, talking a lot and all that stuff, because you know I used to act up a lot. I mean I want to say a lot, like as if I was fighting everybody, but I just act up like class clown type shit, because I felt very like these people aren't like me. So I started to be kind of a little bit different. And basically, I was also kind of influenced by a lot of people, who were like bad and all that. I used to get very influenced by them, because I felt like they were kind of like me, and I felt more understood. I felt more accepted by them. So I used to really follow them. And after that, you know, the rent had got a little expensive, because as I told you guys, it was actually a great place. So then basically the rent, like apartment, in our apartment, bro, it wasn't even that like crazy nice, I'd say, but it's just like. And after this other company had basically taken over, and they had just upped the price to like $2,400. And my dad's like, what the fuck? I'm not paying this shit. and it was expensive for us to pay. We couldn't pay it off, so we moved to basically Cobb County. So the Cobb County we used to live in, it was basically like on the border of kind of Atlanta. It was kind of like very, very near Atlanta, like extremely close to Atlanta. So it was like, it was on the border of Atlanta and Cobb County. You know what I mean? Like kind of on the border type shit. And basically the apartments that I moved into, it was like a lot of kids who were kind of like me. You can understand one thing, right? Like I moved from that area in Florida, so I felt like, you know, it was like these people aren't like me because, you know, I'm a trans baby. So like, you know, I've always felt like these people, they aren't like me. They're very different, and you know, all that stuff, right? All that stuff how I had just explained, and things that when I moved to this part of Atlanta, it was mostly like a Black and Hispanic community, but like the rent was like $1,100 to $1,000. So it was like pretty, I would say like pretty decent rent. So like, you know, it was a lot of like single moms raising 2-3 kids, and basically a lot of kids in the area. They were so bad, but I mean, like a lot of kids, they act up and stuff, and I feel more of kind of like a connection, cause like, you know what I mean, cause like they were bad and they used to act up, and they come from that like bad environment, and like I don't know, I've always kind of felt like a connection between them. I don't know what it is, but I've always kind of felt like a connection, like, you know what I mean, and they would come from like East Atlanta, South Atlanta, all that stuff, and I just felt more of a connection. So whatever they used to do, so they used to act up a lot. Like I would say worse than me. They used to fight in school. They used to do like all that stuff, right? If I mean, like, I mean, I've had my good amount of fights, but I was never really like a fighting person. I've always very peaceful. I've always been cool with everybody. You know, I've always made friends with everybody. I was just class clown. That was majority of what I was. Class clown, and basically, if a dude keep playing with me, I'm gonna smack the shit out of him. You know, shit like that, right? And basically, in that place in Atlanta, what's it called? You know, I started getting influenced by them. You know what I'm talking about? Like, bro, all the teachers be like, bro, he's a bad influence. He's a bad influence, man. That's my brother, bro. You can't tell me that he's a bad influence. That's my brother. He you know, bad influence. And basically, they used to act up a lot, right? And I used to get kind of influenced by them acting up. So I used to start acting up too and stuff and all that stuff. Cause like, you know, I don't know, bro. It's just like that's just how it was, and that's just how they was, and that's just like how I was, and you know I was influenced by them because I felt understood by them. You know, I felt like very like, you know, because we were all bad in studies, so I didn't feel really bad about my grades and things that we all used to act up. So it was kind of more like, you know what I mean. It was, you know what I mean, like it was kind of more like understood type shit. And then after that, so yeah, so we lived there for 2 years. You know, it was cool. You know, we used to all act up at school and all that stuff, and we used to do shit even in the apartments, which I'm not really gonna speak about. But like after that, we had moved to Louisiana. I would say Louisiana is like, I ain't really had a problem of basically finding people who are like hella smart, cause bro, it's Louisiana. Everybody are trans babies over here. So I felt like you know, I made a lot of friends which had like good connection between me, and I felt very, very understood by these people, because you know, a lot of people which I met in Louisiana, they really come from like Bogaloo, you know what I mean, like you know, the trenches really. So I felt like, you know, I made a lot of friends over here because I'm still in Louisiana right now, and I feel like I made a lot of friends with those type of people, because those were the type of people was, I felt growing up, I felt more accepted by them more than basically anybody. I felt more like they kind of understood me, because bro, in my Asian like sort of thing, everybody's supposed to be smart. That is the stereotypical. In my family, everybody's smart. I was the only one, which I would say I'm the black sheep of this family. I'm the black sheep of like, what's it called, my country really. Like I don't feel like there's anybody really like me, and like, you know, I was bad at school. I was bad at study. I used to act up. I don't think that anybody like how I was, and basically, like, I don't know. I just didn't really find the acceptance and things that when I found my acceptance, you know, by those people, it's just, you know, yeah, word, bro. But like, you know, I started getting influenced by them, and basically whatever they used to do, I used to do it too. So we're like, bro, we used to go 20 deep anywhere, and they were my brothers. So like whenever there was a problem, bro, I know they got me, and whenever they had a problem, I know I always had them, bro. I remember one time, bro, they had fucking done something bad, and basically they had like they had an officer chasing them, bro. I just said, come in my house, boy, stay in my crib, boy, and bro, all that stuff. But you know, I ain't really trying to get deep into that, because I wasn't really like that bad of a kid, because I've always been more interested in sports too. I've always been like a sports child, really. And like after that, so we lived there. After that, we had, who's Savannah? Okay. After that, we had moved And after that, like, you know, I'm here, and basically, hopefully, YouTube it'll take me out and all that stuff. But yeah, that's all, guys.